How to build an SEO product, a guide for agencies. So hopefully everyone here is, I say agencies, right? But it's a very umbrella term, consultants, freelancers, anyone who's looking to deliver SEO, but not for themselves. So my name's Andy. I guess hopefully a lot of you will kind of know who I am. Just to give a bit of a background, before I started Hike, or the web shed as it was before then, I'd spent 8 years at agencies, 3 agencies, and then did freelancing as well. So I've worked on hundreds of SMEs, all ranging up to kind of large international financial companies SEO. So I kind of know the agency world. And then since starting Hike, I've spoken to a lot of agency owners. So hopefully that means I can provide some insight and hopefully give you guys some help. Just quickly before we get started, hopefully everyone here is a member of our Facebook group, Hike SEO for Agencies. If not, head over to Facebook, search Hike SEO for Agencies. We've got our Facebook group there. Everything kind of goes in there, whether it's questions or new product updates or videos that we've done, or Gabriel might post in there some SEO news. I might post in there questions that I ask agencies. Like at the moment, it's around an affiliate scheme for agencies. So I was getting feedback on that. So typically we have some good conversations in there. So please do join that group. Okay, so today's agenda: why sell SEO, who should sell SEO, how to build an SEO plan, how to price it, choose the right package. So like I said, I'm going to go through quite quickly here because I do want to get to the questions and answers. And I think most of it should be fairly self-explanatory. And also just FYI, everyone, this is being recorded. So I will be sharing this on the Facebook group tomorrow, but also emailing everyone as well. So don't worry, you will get this. So why sell SEO? I don't want to teach you guys to suck eggs, but I think it's important to go through this. Sometimes it's a nice reminder of just the value of providing SEO to help you grow, help your agency grow. So it's a retainer model, right? This is what makes SEO so nice compared to, let's say, I assume probably a lot of people here today, maybe their primary service is web development. And unless you're offering web development on an ongoing subscription, it's typically lumpy revenue, right? SEO is a real nice recurring revenue stream. It helps you to win new business opportunities, right? So you can go ahead and actually just sell SEO on its own. You can upsell to existing clients. So if you're already providing another digital product, whatever that may be, I'll use web as an example throughout this webinars. It's just easier. But if you're already building websites for someone, then you've already got that relationship with the business. And it's such a nice organic extension to selling websites, saying, hey, we'll do your SEO as well. And the client, hopefully the client already likes you, right? And it's hard. We all know how hard it is to find an agency. The client doesn't want to go and find someone else to do the SEO. If you can do it for them, it should be a fairly natural upsell. Improve retention, bundling products. It does increase better stickiness, and then reduces your competitor risk, right? If you don't offer SEO, there's a chance that perhaps a client could go somewhere else to someone who does do SEO and the web design and the PPC, right? So you want to reduce that. So what's not to love? Right. Who should sell SEO?
Yeah, this is him.
Oh, I'm just going to, how can I get everyone to mute?
Hey, how are you?
Sorry. You'd think I've never done this before.
Hey man, your microphone's on, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to mute all, and hopefully that will get it all done. There we go. Right. Okay, cool. So who should do it, right? Anyone who's willing to do it, right? Because SEO isn't rocket science. Talk of black magic and dark arts is outdated. Actually, it's not outdated. I was speaking to a web designer who runs an agency last week. Currently, how he's delivering SEO is he outsources it to a freelancer, but he feels like he isn't getting the level of communication or knowing exactly what that freelancer's doing for the SEO every month, right? So the freelancer's charging whatever. He's having to charge an extra 10, 20% on top to charge the client, but he doesn't really know what the SEO person's doing. And it's a shame because I've worked in many SEO agencies, and it is something that happens, right? Because we all know SEO isn't an instant thing. There is unfortunately a bit of a leeway where an agency can kind of not do anything for a month, a couple of months, right? This is in the worst case scenario, but you can, not do anything, and results don't really move instantly. You know, if rankings dropped immediately, if you stopped doing SEO, then you'd know if your agency wasn't doing anything, right? And I think, unfortunately, that incentivizes agencies to work on clients who aren't performing so well, or the clients who are the loudest. So there is a bit of this, there is a bit of dark arts, black magic, you know, and some of the things are quite technical, and SEOs don't really want to communicate that. So yeah, that's something that we need to kind of get out. And I think that's where Hype really helps and gives you an advantage, because you can provide that clarity and transparency to customers on what you're actually doing. SEO is process and data driven. You know, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. I enjoy it, but I don't get to do that much of it anymore, unfortunately. But it is quite process and data driven, right? You haven't got to be the most creative person in the world. And even the creative things like writing content, yeah, there's computers that do that really well now, right? But not all businesses know this, right? So do this. So who should be looking to sell it? I think agencies and freelancers. As I mentioned, you're in such a good position to take advantage of your existing clients. If you've already got an existing client base, right, then you can upsell nicely. Improve cash flow, because it can do, as I mentioned before, the retainer model. So you can move away from project-based products. The retainer model already. So if you're already selling retainer products, then it's just easy to bolt it on, right? Because you've already got the financial product. And I guess is what we're talking about before. Stuart mentioned, we've got the Merchant Center, which helps you to sell a recurring product, right? To help set up Stripe and to sell it via Hike, right? To send a customer straight to a checkout page, and then they're set up on a subscription. At the moment, it allows you to sell the do-it-yourself Hike white label, and then done for you. But you can just do 2 products, maybe, which you're hoping to boost. But that gives you the ability to very quickly set up an ongoing payment plan for customers, right? Because that's one of the big feedbacks we used to get is agencies didn't know how to set up a subscription model for their customers, or as in sell that. So I thought I'd have a quick look here. And now this is going a little bit off piste, but when we're looking at trends and going, well, how can you distinguish yourself? How can you distinguish yourself as someone who provides SEO? But how can you look at what you already do and see an opportunity to maybe go, oh, there's an opportunity here. I should be taking more advantage of this. And one of the things I just love to do is I love to go into Google Trends and just have a look at the relative search volume of different phrases. So I thought I'd do trends by CMS here. So it's all SEO-based keywords, but on different CMS platforms to see, okay, where are things going at the minute? Now, the yellow line at the top is WordPress SEO. So that's how many people search. It's not how many people, but relative to the rest, search for WordPress SEO. Now, Shopify SEO, you can see if we go back to 2018, it's grown nicely. Wix SEO, it kind of peaked a little bit behind this box. It's higher than what it used to be, but it's fairly there. And then Squarespace SEO. So, hey, you know, if you do work maybe on a particular CMS platform, is there a way in which you can position yourself as an SEO agency, freelancer, whatever, for that CMS platform? Can we do it by SEO type as well, right? So what are the types of SEO? So there's different types of SEO. National SEO is when you do it for companies who provide their products nationally. Local SEO is where they provide their products within a particular, maybe certain towns, cities, suburbs, states, but it's within a geographical region. It's not the whole country. There's e-commerce SEO, which are the 3 main, right? So you can see there, local SEO is the big one, right? I mean, it's because the number of businesses out there is heavily skewed towards local businesses. It gives us all a really good opportunity, right, to go out there and sell to local businesses because they really need SEO, and there's loads of them out there. I thought I'd throw in a bit of a wild card there. It's just you can see, I mean, the green line here, which is AI SEO. You can see how that's grown over the last, let's say year or something. But, you know, that's a little bit of food for thought, everyone. You know, how can you position yourself? Maybe as you're going to sell SEO, and that could be a webinar we do later in terms of actually how to sell SEO after you've built your product. You know, could you start positioning yourself as, hey, we're a Shopify SEO agency, we're an AI-based SEO agency, you know, providing e-commerce SEO. You know, starting to position yourself as an agency within a particular trend. And then industries. This one doesn't give us much, but it's just looking for within those maybe industries that you can go after, maybe you could position yourself as an industry one. Like we're SEO for plumbers, we're SEO for real estate. So you can head into Google Trends and you can see the relative search volume for each of those different industries. It wasn't too much illuminating there. I think SEO for real estate is definitely a big one. Plumbers was fairly low. Photographers is a big one because with photographers, so a little quick thing here. When you guys add a website into Hike, right, it asks for the industry that your website's in. Now, I know the list is big. There's actually 4,000 industries you can choose from. We get that list from Google. We copy what Google do in Google Business Profile. Now, if you have a look at some of the top industries, web design's our biggest one because we sign up a lot, like you guys are web design agencies. But if we look at like industry-based, photography is one of the biggest ones because there's so many different types of photographers. There's like wedding photography, there's child photography, there's pet photography. So when you start to add those together, you start to see, oh, actually, there's a big need for SEO across photography. So if you can position yourself as, hey, we're an SEO for photography clients, photographers, then you position yourself in a niche, which actually is quite a big niche with a big need, right? Because most of them are freelancers that get a lot of their work from Google. So yeah, just some thoughts there on how to look at trends. So who can do it? You can do it. Sorry, there's a lot of memes in this. Right, okay. Building an SEO product. So really, an SEO product is fairly simple. It's just got its fundamental parts. And spoiler alert, that's where we help in Hike. We just need to break it down to the fundamental parts. It really isn't much more complicated. If you're doing it for a client, it's no different than doing it for yourself, right? So think of it as a recipe. And the recipe has different parts. So you've got your strategy. You've got your on-site SEO. You've got your technical SEO. You've got your content SEO. You've got backlinks. You've got local. You've got reporting. You don't really even need to know what these words mean. You just need to know what actions you need to do. So technical SEO, people are like, what is technical SEO? How can I do 1.5 parts technical SEO? You don't. You just have to use a tool like Hike. And if it tells you you've got a 301 issue or a 404 issue or a canonical issue, then you're fixing technical things. You don't really need to work on technical in inverted commas there. So yes, so let's look at how you can do this within Hike and how it helps with all those areas. So you've got the first part, right, which is strategy. So an SEO campaign, I mean, we could look at this and we could go, actually, an SEO campaign kind of breaks down into 3 bits: strategy, and then implementation, which would be all of these, and then reporting, right? Strategy, what is it you want to achieve? Implementation, how do you achieve that? Reporting, have you achieved that? And then based on that, you can go back to strategy. You know, it could be a cycle, right? That's kind of the best way you'd want to be working on this. So if we look at strategy, implementation, and reporting, let's look at how Hike helps with that. So strategy, you've got your strategy drop down and you've got your features in there, right? You do your keyword research. What are the transactional keywords we want to go for, right? Plumber rugby, plumber London, emergency plumber, whatever it may be, Nike Air trainers, MJ, size 9, red, whatever it be, right? All those transactional keywords, but then also your content keywords, you know, how to choose the best plumber, how do I fix a toilet, whatever it may be. But that's all in your keyword research you do for your clients. Sitemap, they're making sure that you're optimizing the right pages on the website and you can communicate that to the clients. Content strategy, writing that content. Now, obviously, previously, whenever I've done a presentation like this, writing content was always something that was, you know, it's changed a lot, right? With the introduction of AI now. The content thing has really changed. What I'm thinking, I think would be a really nice webinar to do next, and I might put this up on the Facebook group and get people's opinion, is but how to make SEO campaigns the most profitable. You know, how can you all have to do each of these, right? How can you make them most profitable, whether that's using AI or outsourcing or using particular tools? The implementation. So implementing the actual strategy itself, you're doing it via your actions, which is going to tell you what to do, kind of an on-site, technical, etc. You've got your local, which is going to have, you can have local actions in there, but that's going to help you optimize the Google Business Profile listing. And then you've got backlinks as well, which is kind of a separate bit, which doesn't fit so well into actions, but you've got the backlinks tool to help you do that offsite SEO, because you do need to be, if you're doing an SEO product, you do probably want to be doing a little bit of backlinks, right? I would say that question we get asked a lot is, well, how much backlinks should we do? And that's always a tough one to answer. Well, as a rule of thumb, I would always just try and achieve as much as you can organically without backlinks before focusing on backlinks. So I'll give you a very specific example. Here at Hike, we launched on the Hike website, hikeseo.co, we launched, or Gabriel launched a new section called Learn SEO. Now, if you go to it, I'll tell you what, I'll just do it here. I shouldn't be doing this. This is where things go wrong and they break and stuff. And I run out of time. We've got these pages. We call Learn SEO, right? And you've got these 5 categories: on-site SEO, off-page SEO, local SEO, SEO strategy, SEO reporting. Now, if you click on them, they're these like hefty, multiple 1,000-word content pieces, right? And then within them, they link down to pages below them. So learn on-site. So there's like 50,000 words of content that we created. It took months and months to do this before we launched it. Now we've started to get some really good rankings. We've got, I think we're ranking for about 1,000 keywords across all these pages, but a lot of them on page 2, page 3, etc. So we've waited a while and now it's like, right, how can we boost this with backlink building? So what I would say is a general rule of thumb, try to do what you can without backlink building. And then if you see that, okay, we need a bit of a boost, then you can, then you can look to perhaps do a bit more backlink building. Or you can use the competitor comparison tool as well in Hike and look at the like-for-like competitors. And if your DA is so far below theirs, then that's something you need to look at. And then reporting as well, right? Now we've got the reporting tools. The one you probably care about most for reporting to clients is the report builder. We have some video content where Gabriel has done videos that kind of teaches you how to create reports. So I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but you do want to make sure that you're reporting back to your client. And that is it depends on the client, but probably at least a monthly activity. Okay, so people sometimes think here, oh, Andy, you literally give me so much information. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but it's not complicated. And I've got a sheet which I created years ago, which you guys might have seen. This is something I created at Hike probably in 2018, really, really long time ago, where I built out what an SEO example SEO campaigns could look like for agencies who want to start selling SEO and how they should distribute their time. And I did it based on, I just did 4 hours a month. Let's say you sold a 4-hour a month SEO package, a 6-hour a month SEO package, and an 8-hour a month SEO package. So let's start with 8 hours. So if you sold a client 8-hour a month SEO package, you might be like, Andy, well, what should I be doing every single month? So I broke it down over 12 months. So you've got here months 1 to 12. Over here, you've got the deliverables. So the things that you could be doing every single month. And then where it's green, that's the activity you should do that month. And then the number is how many hours. Now, please note, this is a very simplified thing. I mean, it does cover pretty much everything you probably want to do. There might be things you want to add, but it's probably a quite handy little document, especially if you're starting out. Claire, I think we'd find this really helpful. So if anyone does want this, I can share this in the Facebook group. We give it to everyone that wants it. But it just breaks it down for it, right? So your month 1, when you work with a client, you kind of just want to be working on the strategy, right? It's everything that we mentioned there, which is, your keyword research, landing page, etc. Because that then, not only does that tell Hike, okay, what you're trying to achieve, so you can start making the changes to the website the next month onwards, but it also means you can communicate that to the client as well, right? So you can go, hey, look, here's the keywords I think you should go for. Here's the opportunity. Here's what your competitors are ranking for that I think we should go for. Here's the content that we need to write based around this. Your competitors have got backlinks here. I think we should probably start looking at building backlinks here. So you've got that information so you can communicate that to the client. I think that's really super important. And I've got it again in month 7 because I do think it's an underrated part of an ongoing SEO. When I've done SEO in the past, you do the strategy in month 1, then you just kind of get stuck in to do it. But 6 months, 7 months down the line, the customer may, because they're not working on every month like you, they may kind of forget what it is that you're trying to achieve. And it's nice for them to be reminded. And also for yourself, just to renew, to refresh, see where you're at the moment. Okay, we've been trying to rank for this keyword for 6 months. It's going nowhere. Let's wipe it and go for something else, right? So I do think that's very important. And then if we look at the other deliverables that you should be looking at, so local, Google, let's show how old it is, Google My Business, the Google Business Profile listing optimization, and then citation build and alignment. There's other things that you could be doing there. You could be perhaps doing Google My Business posts, which kind of falls under content. You could be managing the reviews for them. So that could be part of your SEO product. Hey, we'll check your reviews daily, let you know if anything needs to be responded to, or if you get a positive review, perhaps you could respond to it for them. But the citation build and alignment would kind of be a big thing. Content. So ensuring that you're creating content, obviously, is a super important part of SEO. Now, that doesn't always have to be new content, right? You know, when I used to work on campaigns for SEO clients, I'd probably spend the first few months, a lot of the time, either rewriting or adding to their existing pages. I think sometimes people feel that, oh, to show value, you've got to write new content. You don't. It might be that their homepage content is naff, right? And you need to rewrite it so it's better. But having consistent content there is important, you know, just like we've done with our new Learn SEO, the value of creating good quality content, you know, is really important for SEO. Then you've got link building. So you can do link building. You can also add in activities like auditing existing backlinks. That'd be using the backlink health check part of Hike. Your on-site SEO. So that's making your changes to metadata, headings, optimizing content. There'll be other things in there. You probably don't need to break it down so much, but it could be like your internal linking, etc. Image optimization. So it doesn't have to all be in here, but this is kind of, I guess, an example. And then technical. So this is something that you can use to guide you, but this actually is a really nice way to get buy-in from clients. So you can share this with clients, right? And they can then see that, oh yeah, SEO is it's a long-term game, right? And this is always the challenge with selling SEO and keeping clients for a long time. It's managing their expectations. But SEO is a long-term game, right? You've got to do things. You've got to structure what you do and when you do them, right? And it does mean that times is going to take time. But if you can sit down with the client and say, look, this is what we're doing over the next 12 months. It's not going to be rigid. If we see opportunities arise or other things, you know, we might do an on-site audit and there might be millions of broken things we need to fix. So we need to be flexible. But if they understand that it's a 12-month thing, at least a 12-month thing, and then you're going to do the strategy, then they've got a lot of confidence in you. And you're going to find it easier to get their buy-in over time. Right. Okay. Let's head back to here. Let's press the present button. Present. Okay. So hopefully that doesn't feel as complicated anymore. So yeah, Hike SEO enables complete all of those tasks. Okay. The last section. So I have gone through this very quickly, which is good because we can jump into Q&A, which I think people would really benefit from. So I've included this as a kind of a more of a discussion point and more of a just, I guess, like the rest of this presentation. Use it as a guide in terms of how you can think about pricing any SEO plans that you sell. So first thing, hopefully none of you were thinking of doing so, but just in case, try not or don't price based on results. SEO isn't an exact science, right? It isn't. You have your time scales, your rules of thumb for ranking over particular times, but you might not be able to achieve those because of things outside of your control. You know, the client you're working on, you might not know, but they might have had some really dodgy SEO done 3 years ago, which means there's loads of bad backlinks. It's going to take you ages to rank. It could be that their competitors have just, you know, are spending X amount on SEO and it's going to be almost impossible for you to get to page one. So try to resist pricing anything based on results. Yeah, because this is the sort of thing that you might get right from a customer. Start with a healthy client expectation model and price on time. What I'd assume, again, using my framing of a web design agency reading this, is that the way that you probably work or perhaps sell at the minute is based on time, or at least the way you communicate to clients is based on time, right? So do that. Don't promise anything. If a customer's pushing saying, I want it to be based on results, then you can go for it by all means, but I would probably just advise walking away in that scenario. Price it on your time. Don't be out of pocket from the work that you do for the SEO for your client. Okay, so here's just a very quick couple of examples, very, very basic. Let's say you're selling 2 packages, right? For argument's sake, a 5-hour a month package and a 10-hour a month package. I kind of picked these 2 out there. I probably should have done 4, 6, and 8 so that it goes alongside the Google Sheet, but we live and we learn. Now, a 5-hour a month typically lends itself well to a local SEO type, right? Like I say, a campaign. So like I say, that would be perhaps they want to rank in their local town, right? I live near Rugby. They might want to be a plumber that's based in Rugby or Lutterworth or wherever it may be, right? Now, if the SEO type of the customer is national, they want to rank nationally. If you only had these 2 products, then do at least the 10-hour, right? Because you're never going to be able to rank nationally if you're only spending 5 hours per month. You want to give the client the best possible chance of them ranking. So you need to be able to put in as much time as you possibly can. Make as many changes, create as much content, etc. But it could be a local one as well, right? If it's a local, like a big city, I would almost class that as national. in a way, right? Just to help you think about that. London, just treat it like national. Birmingham, treat it like national. Leeds, treat it like national. Manchester, treat the big cities as national. If you had these two products, go with the bigger one. Number of keywords is something you probably want to also factor in for when you're proposing an SEO type. 5 hours a month, as a general rule of thumb, less than 10 keywords, right? You know, plumber based in Rugby, they want to rank plumber rugby, emergency plumber rugby, 24-hour plumber rugby, toilet repair rugby, right? Let's say it's 10 keywords. That's a nice little package, 5 hours a month. Anything over that, go for the bigger package because it's going to be harder to rank for that. And then search volume is another thing that you should factor in as well, because they might be local. They might have less than 10 keywords. You might be like, oh, this is quite nice for the 5 hour a month. But if you combine the search volume of all the keywords, who knows? It could be a huge search volume. And search volume, while not completely, related to difficulty, is a pretty good indicator. It's a pretty good proxy for understanding how difficult an SEO campaign is going to be. So if a search volume for all those keywords is going to be over like 1,000, you want to be going towards a bigger campaign because it means it's probably going to be quite difficult to do. Cool. So here, if it's local, but the keywords are actually greater than 10, go for the 10-hour package. If it's local, but the keywords are greater than the search volume, combined search from all the keywords is greater than 1,000, then go for the 10-hour package. So just kind of reiterating that. Right, the next bit's fairly interesting because this is a question again, but how much should you actually charge, right? You'll be like, Andy, got the 5 hour, 10 hour, or the 468. That's great, brilliant. I can go start selling to clients, but how much should I actually charge? And this is a difficult one. Now, I said before, charge based on time. So my first kind of advice here is just multiply your hourly rate, and just go for that. But the guys at Ahrefs have done a really good study. They have a blog post. It's at the bottom here, blog SEO pricing. They update every year because they interview 400 SEO agencies, freelancers, consultants to try and understand what the kind of the mean or the averages of what people are charging, what people are paying for SEO. So some interesting stuff here. So most businesses paying a monthly retainer for SEO will pay between $5,000 and $1,500 per month. This is US dollars, by the way. For those paying by the hour, $75 to $100 is the most popular hourly rate. For one-off SEO projects, $2.5 to $5,000 per project is most common. What I would say is, unless you guys are working with bigger websites, one-off SEO project isn't something I'd recommend. I'd try and get them onto a retainer. But yeah, it's interesting because this number here, those paying by the hour, 75 to 100 is the most popular hourly rate. That actually used to be higher. It's actually dropped down. So that's really interesting to see. Maybe because of additional competition now in the SEO market. But there's some other interesting stats here. So if we do it hourly rates by region, you can see the difference between the US and Canada versus UK. And the reason I've included these two is because the majority of our customers, especially our agency customers, that are in these two, or should I say, North America and UK. So you can see US customers, they're paying a little bit more, which is unsurprising than UK customers. You can see here, it's all US dollars. It doesn't change it to pounds. So obviously in pounds, that would be lower. But the kind of between 51 and 75, whereas over here, you're between 75 and 150. And there are typically bigger budgets in the US, right? So since we launched our agency help feature, I think we've had around 45 small businesses reach out asking for help. And there's been an equal mix between US and UK small businesses. But there is a much higher average retainer that they're willing to spend, those US small businesses, than the UK one. So there's definitely a trend in the US where people are willing to spend more for SEO. Then the final slide here, I thought this was interesting. This is just monthly retainer rates. So this is what the retainer is per month, right? So not looking at the hourly rate, or that's probably how they calculated it. So in the US, if we have a look here, $500 a month and $1,500 a month is kind of your big ones there. There's a big increase there at 2.5 to 5K. That would probably be for your big companies. Over in the UK, there's more littler ones here, but then you start to get a lot there, $251 to $500, which would probably be like what, 400 quid tops, maybe 200 quid to 400 quid. So yeah, again, indicative of small businesses in the UK perhaps spending a little bit less than what US audiences are willing to spend. So yeah, unless you guys are doing both markets, it's probably less relevant, but it's good to see, I guess, what other agencies are doing. Another thing that you can do, and I do recommend, is if you can, do a bit of a price exploration to agencies around you. You know, like agencies. A lot of people put pricing on websites, a lot of agencies these days. You know, what are they selling? You know, the agencies in your town, in your city, in your state, how much are they charging? What do their packages look like? How are they positioning themselves? It's definitely worthwhile looking at. Now that is me done. So we've got 20 minutes to answer questions. So I'm going to open up the chat here. So let me stop this share and then we can get everyone's video up. There we go. Now let me get the, oh no, where's the chat? Chat. Here. Okay, cool. I don't know if you guys noticed, Zoom's introduced some AI stuff now. They've got like a little summary, AI summary button at the bottom, which is kind of cool. Might try that at the end. Right, okay. So let's go through the questions on this. So Michael Thomas, good to see you. Is this going to be recorded and shared afterwards? Absolutely. As Chris Davidson put, it's being recorded now. Dave Braun, can we have the link to Andy's spreadsheet here? Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm not sharing anymore. Let me just do it now quickly. That'd be the easiest way, right? So share. Anyone the link viewer, copy link, done. There you go. There you go, sorted. Dave, you can force someone to go race. Yeah, cool. You could do that, but there you go. You've got the link there, and I'll send it out tomorrow of the recording as well and put it on the Facebook group in case anyone didn't catch it. Stuart, I have a question. Might be to ask. Oh yeah, absolutely. So, Stuart, do you want to ask your question?
Okay, so I think this is relevant to this webinar about how to sell SEO, but the question is Hike ever going to bring back their software plus product? And the reason I ask that is when we signed up, our model was going to be that initially we would do a package of say 4 hours or 3 hours, but we would outsource that to Hike until we got to the point where we had enough recurring revenue to bring our own team in to do it in-house, or a mixture of both. And literally within a couple of months of signing up, you scrapped your software plus. So now we're like, if I sell a 4-hour package, I've got to find 4 hours of time or another person. And if I've only sold 2, that doesn't warrant paying an SEO person on 15, 20, 30 grand, whatever it might be. Yeah. So I'm putting you on the spot there a little bit, but
no. It's absolutely fair question. So we don't have any plans to bring it back. We, as a company, at the beginning of the year, we got investment, and we look to refine the business at that point, right? Like what is it that we want to achieve? What makes us different as a company, and where can we kind of help the most amount of people? And we called it like the agency side of the business. It's not as profitable as the software side, and it's so different to the software side. And essentially we were having these 2 growing teams, and they were both needed completely different management, completely different skills to deliver it. And it came to the point where it was detracting from our primary focus on the software. So we decided even though it was a fairly good chunk of revenue of Hike, we were like, we're just going to have to sacrifice it, right? We're going to have to stop selling it, because then we can refocus all of the team's time on going towards the software, because that's where we're a bit more unique in the market. You know, we can help more people for sure, and where we want to grow. I've been personally, I've done agency for a long time. That's something I didn't want to keep on doing. I wanted to try something different. So
sure,
that's the answer to that one. Now with regards to your problem now, and I completely understand, you need essentially a freelancer, a agency who can deliver it like Hike would have delivered it before. You need a replacement for Hike. So we did launch the agency help feature. Now that agency help feature can be used by agencies. So you can submit your request on there, Stuart, And then what we will do is we'll go to all the agencies that have registered to be part of that. And we'll say, look, this is Stuart's needs. Who here, can fulfill that? Who can, because obviously you'll need to be able to charge your amount so you can make your margin, etc.
That works to a point, but it's the margin, it's the issues. If we're charging 50 and then an agent goes, yeah, we can help you do the actual work, but we're £60 an hour, then you're actually running at a loss. So you just got to be careful how you manage your pricing and that when you outsource to another agency.
Yeah.
Or a freelancer for that matter.
Yeah, that's right. So we used to charge for our done with you. We used to charge £50 an hour. So the agency would have to sell £60 an hour, £70
exactly.
an hour. They wanted to do
exactly.
it. Yeah. So it wasn't probably even the most profitable for those that were doing it, but I understood it. It gave you a route to doing it before you generate enough SEO revenue to bring in someone, right? So yeah, I'd recommend fill out that form. I'll have a look. I'll speak. I mean, I know pretty much all the agencies on there. I've vetted them all. I know them all. So there might be someone that can help. There might be someone here, for example, that can help. But I think there should be someone that can do it for you at a good cost.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Joe. And apologies for that.
That's all right. No need to apologise. We all have to evaluate and adjust our businesses. So that's fine.
All right, cool. Thank you, Stuart. Michael, you got 2 questions. Do you want to ask the first one?
Yeah, man. So my question was related to AI.
Yes.
And this is more of a opinion question. Do you feel that so if you look at Bing, Google, I don't know if they've done it yet, but Bing have done it where you type in a query and it starts throwing up the AI version of the answer rather than organic results. Is there a concern that Google's going to do the same, therefore because again, that's a piece of real estate. Is it going to devalue the SEO agency market overall because of
reduce real estate? So Google are going to do it. They launched it at their latest conference probably a couple of months back. It's called Search Generative Experience, SGE. And if you have a look at the images of what they showed, it was very similar, right? It showed someone searching, and then a box would appear.
It was a hiking trip, wasn't it? It was a hiking trip.
Yeah, they did the hiking trip. They did a buying a dress and stuff. So you had the search, you then had your generative AI response, and then you had your listings underneath, right? But it had some of the organic listings on the right. I think ultimately no one knows, and I think anyone that says they do, they don't, because until Google actually launch it and actually show what it's going to look like, no one really knows. The pace at which things are moving is incredible. Will it have an impact? I mean, it's bound to have some kind of impact on search, because if you can get the answer you need there and then, you don't need to click on a website, right? The thing that I think that might save SEO is probably not save SEO, but may not impact SEO too much, is they need to make this model consistent with their ad model as well, right? So if someone's getting all the answers they need there and then no one's clicking on ads either, right? So Google needs to make sure that this is going to align with their targets from an ad point of view and getting ad revenue and clicking on ads. So I don't know how it will be, whether there'll be some kind of citation. So at the end of response, there'll be click here to view the full web pages, and there'll be some ad responses. There'll be some normal responses. But with a decrease in real estate, less chance for your 10 blue links, your 10 organic links, it will probably have an impact. But that's happened for a long time, right? If we think Google ads went from 2 ads at the top to 3 ads at the top to 4 ads at the top. I mean, if you search car insurance now, you don't see any organic listings until you go below the fold. So SEO has always been pushed down, but the demand from an agency point of view for small businesses for help with SEO has only gone like that, right? So they've not correlated. That reduction in organic real estate or visibility on the first page has not correlated in demand for SEO agencies. So we shouldn't assume that could potentially happen with the AI, generative AI responses.
Okay, that nailed my first question. Sorry to throw you a hard ball.
No worries.
The second question is, with a client in particular, very tight niche, backlinks are quite difficult to get, certainly from the hero, because they don't do something generic. You mentioned when you were talking about it, the value of focusing primarily on producing good content and not worrying so much about backlinks because they will come. What's the best way to get that DA up without backlinks? Or I guess because they're in a very competitive but tight niche, are there any other things that I should be thinking about or doing that I'm not, other than the hero? And I don't want to go and buy backlinks.
Yeah. I mean, there are obviously companies that will sell backlinks, sell their time, let's say, however they want to position it, work with bloggers who sell their time, let's say. So that is an option. I think in particularly specific niches, I probably spend more time looking at competitors. So adding competitors in the hike and just combing through their backlinks. Because in niches, what you find as well is there's sometimes some really specific directories or industry specific directories or bodies where you can kind of get links from. I comb through there more often than not because it's very difficult to do. It's very difficult to do. If you add more competitors in, if you add as many competitors into hike as you can, then on the right, there's a little drop down and there's a competitor overlap. If you choose that competitor overlap, what that will then do is show you any of the backlinks, any of the links that your competitors have got, 2 or more of your competitors got that you don't have. So that's a nice way then, because again, when you get niche industries, if you comb one by one, there's some random stuff. There'll be like charities in there, and you're like, well, we can never get a charity for the company we're working on because they have a particular relationship or whatever it may be. So add in as many like for like competitors, use that competitor overlap drop down. And then if you see there are websites that link to 2 or more of your competitors in that very specific niche, then that's your best opportunity for building a backlink from there.
Amazing answer.
Cool. Cheers, Michael. Right, Dave, question along the merchant center. I shall do my best.
Yeah, I had a quick comment on the one question that Michael had. It was good. Like it may be different, like the example you had about car insurance and 4 sponsored links, but it may be different when you're talking about longer tail keywords. Like I put in car insurance that covers rental cars, right? Yeah. And there were like only 2 sponsored links. So maybe that ends up being more of the opportunity in the future is long tail keywords.
Yeah. I remember I did a webinar a couple of months ago and we had a guy called Mordy from Wix. I don't know if anyone's on that webinar. And he's amazing. So he's like, he's a bit of a famous guy in the SEO world. And he's one of these guys who's got so much energy. And he's like this fountain of knowledge. And his opinion was that exactly that. It's the long tail keywords. Because the responses are going to be the keywords can now get so specific, so long and so specific. At the moment, Google's not very good at handling it. So you don't particularly do it you don't ask Google those long questions. If anything, you shorten your searches, right? But because it's going to get so much better at those long tail queries, it means that if you're a small business and you are an expert in this very specific thing, that actually it could be now that specific thing can now be served by Google because it's so much better understanding people that need that very specific thing or researching down that specific thing. So no longer will your content, which is way more relevant for hiking in brown boots up Snowdon in November, it won't be decathlon at the top because they've got such a high DA and they've written a generic guide on climbing Snowdon. It will be your particular website because Google's so much better at understanding that long tail query that suddenly now, it's what Mordy thinks, small businesses are going to be able to compete even more than they could before, which is a very optimistic way. And I'd love it if that's the case.
Yeah, very well could happen. So quick question, could you give a brief 1 minute overview of the Merchant Center?
Yeah, good question. God, 1 minute, that's set me a target, isn't it? Okay. When people, I'll go back to the reason we did it. People would white label hike, right? If you white label hike and then you sell that solution to a customer, it's very difficult to automate that process. So let's say Bob the Builder signed up for your white label SEO platform. Dave's SEO platform, right? Dave, you'd have to go home. You'd have to add in bobthebuilder.com. You'd have to add Bob as a user. You'd have to send Bob his username and password via email so he could log in. You'd need to use Stripe, Go Cardless, whatever, to set up the subscription, to charge him, to get that going. So it's all very long-winded. So we were like, well, actually, why don't we build something we call the Merchant Center, which means you can just connect your Stripe account. It only works with Stripe into Hike. It means you can create products. So let's say you want to sell Dave's SEO platform at 100 quid a month, wherever it may be. Then you can create a checkout page that you send to Bob. Bob says, yeah, I want to sign up. You go, great, here you go. They sign up through that checkout page, which is all white labeled for your branding. That then logs them straight into Dave's SEO platform, creates them an account, and seamless experience. You pay us whatever we charge. So depending on what pricing tier you're on, right? So let's say you're on the second tier and we're charging £28 or $30. We take that. The rest of the cut goes straight into your Stripe account, and he becomes a customer in your Stripe account. What that means is it's very automated. They can sign up whatever point. There's nothing that you need to do manually. And it also means if they ever cancel at any point or whatever it be, then it all happens automatically. You don't have to worry about managing all that yourself as well.
Okay.
That's the Merchant Center.
Okay, that makes sense. My next question is kind of related to that. I know a while ago there was the possibility from a white label perspective that people could purchase some of the tasks for like 15 minutes or an hour.
Yep.
I don't see that right now. Do I have to have the Merchant Center for that?
No, the option should be there when you're on the action page. So when you're on the actions page, let me.
Yeah.
If we do this, let me log in. Oops. Let me go to actions. Right. Okay.
Well,
let me. My screen.
Yeah, I mean,
it shows order action when you're on the action page.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You could click this, and you can click this order action button. Or you can press this green button.
I used to have it, but I don't have it for my account.
Interesting.
So,
are you the account you log in with, Dave? Is it an admin account? Is it the account you signed up to Hikon?
No.
That'll be why. So it's only admins of an account that can order actions, because obviously, if you order an action, it's going to take a payment from the card you've got linked to Hike. So
but I thought there was a capability for like my white label clients to order actions from me.
Yeah, so you can only do. Oh, okay, that can only be done via the Merchant Center.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Now the bonus of it being done via the Merchant Center, though, is that the payment's taken straight away, right? So if your customer orders, just like we do with Hike, like if you order $100, $200 worth of actions, that payment will be taken from their account straight away and put into your Stripe account. Whereas the way it was done before is you'd have to liaise with them separately and take that payment from them.
Okay.
Whereas with the Merchant Center, because it links to your Stripe account, they'll make the payment, it will go out of their cards and into your Stripe account. And we take no cut of that at all. We take nothing on that. All you pay is the Stripe fees, which is like 20 cents plus 3%, and then you get the rest of it. We don't take any of that money.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good answers.
No probs. Cool. Right, 5 minutes. I think we've probably got time for one more question. Got nothing in the chat. No, 5 minutes to spare.
I've got one.
Right, go on, Helen, go for it.
Seeing as there's 5 minutes. I have a client. They've got a franchise. So I've been talking to one of the franchisee, although I know the owner of the franchise, the whole overall. But they're stuck. Well, at the moment, they have another company who's doing the SEO, and I can see, and I've shown that they're not doing it at all. But this franchisee has said, well, can you just do like the Google profile stuff at the moment? So they've got a website for each franchise. I hope this isn't too.
I'm following. I got it.
They're doing the system of having a website for each franchise, which I personally said I don't think you should have. You should have a location page on the main one.
Yeah.
On and increase the ranking for the domain.
Yeah, agreed.
Which I hope is the correct way of doing it.
Yeah, then they all benefit.
So
off the
he
power
said,
of the
look,
domain.
yeah, that's what, yeah, good. I said the right thing. So, but he said, right, I'm not going to be able to, change stuff overnight with the the main site. That's going to take some negotiation and some degree pokery. So, but can you do the local business profile for me for a couple of franchises he owns in that? How so to get through to the question, if I'm not touching their website stuff, how much of an impact does that have just on its own?
Oh, sorry, you cut out right for me. You cut out just as that question was dropping. Can you just repeat that last question, Helen?
So if I'm just going to do, if I was to do just the Google profile work, like doing, a post, doing backlinks, etc., not touching the website or the individual websites, hoping that they'll go one day, but the backlinks obviously are going to go to those websites. So is there any point in me saying, yes, I'll do the Google local stuff for you?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily tied too much, although the website. So if you actually, what a good thing to do is go to Google and search local SEO ranking factors study. Moz do one, or they used to do one every year, and it would tell you the ranking factors that correlate most closely with being high in the Google Maps, right? So if all you can access and all you have access to right now is their Google business profile listing and not the website, then all you can really influence are the correlating ranking factors that are within your control. Like optimizing the listing, putting Google business profile posts there, responding to reviews, adding images. You can also citations. So you don't have to look so much at backlinks, because if you're doing backlinks, that's going to benefit the website. You want to focus more on citations. So, your listings on Yelp, Yale, all those business directories. If you go into Hike, you go to the citations page or directories page, and at the top right, there's a button that says export full list. Export that, then you've got a big long dump of directories that you can build citations on. Because we only show a few on that actual page, but there's a load more that are in an export. Now, you can still really impact, even now, the ranking of where a business profile ranks in the maps just by influencing those things. So not even touching the website. The website does have an impact. And if you look at the study, you'll see it does, and it has done more over time. But those other factors like I think listing optimization is still the #1 ranking factor that correlates. Having a well-optimized listing correlates the most with ranking at the top in the map results. More so than the DA of the website, more so than the number of reviews, because you'll actually see, search plumber London, the highest reviewed business isn't always at the top, right? Can sometimes be ones below it, they've got way more reviews. So yeah, there's lots more. So you can still make an impact for sure. It's not as bigger impact as if you were able to optimize those local pages, right? And make them really friendly. But you can still have an impact. That's for sure.
Great, thank you very much. And just a very quick add-on, the citation list, is that like American or British based or both? Or
it's specific to the country of the website that it's set for. So if you've added a UK business, we get that from a data supplier called Bright Local, who specialize in that. So we say, hey, Bright Local, this Bob the Builder is based in the UK. Give us an audit and opportunities for UK-based directories. Whereas if Bob the Builder was based in the US, we'd do the same for US.
Great. Thank you very much.
No worries. Right. I have to call it quits there, everyone. I do apologize. Oh, Claire, I did see you had one question. Do you want to drop an email? Drop an email I'll tell you what, actually, if you've got Facebook and you could put it in the Hike SEO for Agencies group, that would be great. And I will make sure I respond to that tomorrow for you. Awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully you found it helpful. And yeah, we'll probably do another one next month. Maybe we'll look at profitability, maybe tips and tricks for managing a campaign, but I'll put it in the group and then you can vote on what you want to do.
Thanks very much.
Right. Thank you, Andy. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.